Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get back to Iraq. There is a lot of talk, once again, about the change in the exchange rate. I think some people are misinterpreting what they're reading. So we're going to cover that because we want some clarity there. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy Silver. Yes, it has changed. PIMPY-SILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. So I apologize for the delays in posting videos. The last couple of days, I've really been focusing on listening to Elon Musk really expose Twitter and all the criminality that took place between what was happening with Twitter's executives, political parties, and the FBI. It's really, really sad. And they're doing everything they can to squash and bury that story. So I did post on my platform in the interview with Elon Musk. I encourage everybody to hear. It's definitely a must hear if you want to find out the truth. I don't care what political party you're affiliated with, but you definitely want to hear that because it affects everybody here in the United States. It said the Central Bank of Iraq adapts its dollar sales to travelers. So it said the Central Bank of Iraq decided on Sunday to adapt its sales of U.S. dollars to travelers outside the country by 5,000. There's a reason why they limit the amount of money that travelers can have and use. They want to make sure that people aren't money smuggling is all it is. So I'm sure people were complaining that with inflation and the change in the exchange rate, they're going to need more money if they're going to travel outside the United States. I mean, 5,000 is a big chunk of money, but you'd be surprised how quick that goes. So the central bank's letter signed by the deputy governor stated that the results of the high level of global inflation and the increase in travel and living costs globally, and to meet the demands of the citizens traveling to suit its foreign currency needs while traveling, the bank decided to increase the dollar sales ceiling to $5,000 for a citizen traveling or employee during 1 month. So that's really nice if you're traveling, you're doing a lot of things that you have to pay with cash. It's nice to be able to have an increase in amount. It said $41 million, the sales of Central Bank of Iraq today. So the reason why a lot of people pay attention to this because it tells you what the real rate of the Iraqi dinar is at the time. So you can tell by this news article for this auction, on average for every $1 you would get 1,460 dinars per dollar. The currency auctions are how they help stabilize the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar. So here we go. This is part of all the talk that's going on about the Iraqi dinar exchange rate. It says government officials, dollar exchange rate will fall and its impact in a week. It says a government official confirmed on Monday that the exchange rate of the U.S. dollar against the Iraqi dinar will fall with its decision of the central bank to increase the weekly share of banks and exchange and brokerage companies, pointing out that the decline will become clear to have an impact next week. They're not talking about the kind of exchange rate that we're dealing with. They're talking about controlling the actual market itself. A perfect example is what I was talking about in the auctions. So they're going to do what they can to make sure they maintain a specific rate. It said the officials told the news today the dollar exchange rate will decline in the coming days in local markets, and its impact will be at the beginning of next week, noting that exchange companies will apply for their share of the dollar on Monday by depositing cash in the trust of each company and delivered to the central bank provided that this share of the dollar is delivered during. The official who preferred not to be named, you notice how they don't want to be named because they get in trouble for this stuff. But the official who preferred not to be named and positioned added that the bank's decision came to reduce the gap between the price of the central bank and the price of the dollar in local markets, or what is known as the black market, expecting the dollar to fall to its previous levels, which came out to an average of $1,470 per dollar. The Central Bank of Iraq decided on Sunday to increase the share of banks and exchange financial brokerage companies of the dollar in order to reduce the dollar rate in local markets after it rose on Sunday to more than 1,500 dinars for every $1. See, it's going in the wrong direction. We want it to actually go lower. See, the lower the amount of dinars for every dollar, the better for us. We want it to go all the way to the point where you get more US dollars for every 1 dinar. That's the direction we want it to go in. The bank suspended 14 banks from entering the auction after the U.S. sanctions it put on these banks as a result of smuggling the currency. It is noteworthy that the central bank sells the dollar in an auction it organizes daily to the banks and brokerage companies in order to finance foreign trade and finance the internal market in dollars. But many economists and politicians pointed to the existence of corruptions in the sales of the central bank by smuggling hard currency abroad without finding solutions to this over these years. This is why Maliki and Khazali were complaining about the change in the exchange rate. It was affecting their monies. Parliamentary discussions and dialogue to review the dollar exchange rate. Said the House is moving towards reconsidering the dollar exchange rate. There are discussions and dialogues between members of the House of Representatives and the Financial Committee specifically to reconsider the dollar exchange rate, and we believe that an appropriate price will be maintained. The rapid rise has led to clear economic deterioration due to the lack of study of the negatives and pros about it. So there's a real need to return the dollar exchange rate. This case is different. They're talking about the actual exchange rate that we dealt with. Remember, it went from 1,190 dinars for every $1 on up to 1,450 dinars. So here they're talking about a discussion of changing that rate back. But remember, it's all rumors and speculations unless the central bank says so itself. And that's what this person's pointing out. Association of Banks central bank measures will return dollar prices to their rates quickly. So the Association of Iraq Private Banks announced on Monday that the measures of the central bank to increase the supply of dollars through its approved outlets will lead to the return of the exchange rate to their rates quickly. Economic and political conditions and their repercussions negatively affect the stability of the monetary system and the financial system, and therefore this will lead to the economic instability of market confusions. They added that several days ago, a new wave of criticism began from some media outlets affected by the rumors launched and driven by speculators in the currency exchange market in order to create confusion and instability and to try to drag monetary market into the instability and thwart the central bank's plans to control the target rates of the exchange rate, which it has. He pointed out that speculators took advantage of the decline in the dollar sales in the windows of selling foreign currency, which was explained by the central bank in a statement last week that the reason is the application of the new electronic platform to control external transfers similar to the platform of letters of guarantee currently implemented, pointing out that given the insufficient readiness of local banks with the start. So you can see right here, they're pointing out you guys got to be careful about the rumors. Another rumor is that the central bank will make a new change to the current price, explaining that the central bank has repeatedly announced that there is no intentions to change the price at the moment, explaining that the negative effects of any change in price on the national economy, trade exchanges, and local and foreign banking transactions with the countries of the world. The exchange rate is determined by the central banks according to the effect and repercussions of the economic reality in a country like Iraq that suffers from challenges, repercussions, economic and financial crisis, structural and systematic imbalances in the management of the economy and money that are not borne by the central bank alone because of its role is clear, specific and independent, concentrated and stimulating the economy according to the tools and application of monetary policy. But this is not achieved without joint coordination with fiscal policy and other economic sectors, achieving the real economy, diversifying sources of national income, and leaving the unilateral economy based on oil as a major resource that constitutes 93 to 100% of the revenues of the budget and 57.5% of the GDP. This is what I've brought up several times in videos, that there are other factors that are into play in order for the exchange rate to happen. That's exactly what this person's saying. Stop and listen to speculators. These are the things that must be done before we can change the rate in any major way. He also stressed that those who criticize the central bank should be aware that its measures announced yesterday by increasing the supply of the dollar through its approved outlets and banks will inevitably lead to the return of the price to its target rates inevitably and quickly, which is they wanted around 1,450 dinars for every dollar. A parliamentary move to support the private sector and raise the standard of living of the Iraqi individual. The Parliamentary Committee on Economy, Industry, and Trade confirmed on Monday the move to support the private sector and raise the standard of living of the Iraqi individual. The committee is looking to legislate new laws and activate disruptive laws to support and revitalize the private sector, a committee member said. The activation of the private sector has a great impact on supporting the Iraqi economy, its development and recovery, and thus well-being, and raising the standard of living of the Iraqi people. So that's what we've been talking about. They need to start doing something that not only helps the private sector, but also the public sector. That's what we're waiting for. So anyways, you guys, look, be careful with all the rumors. Be careful of all the speculators talking about the exchange rate's going to happen. You got to hear it directly from the central bank and no one else. I'm not saying it's not going to change come this budget. Most likely it won't, because the central bank said this is the rate it's going to be for the next 5 years. We are now, 2.5 years into that 5 year. So we'll see what happens when this budget comes out. We'll look forward to it, all right? Anyways, I look forward to your comments, and I will get at you later. I'm out.